The following program contains incessant calls to battle with the unsavory. If you suffer from squeaky clean-handedness, Randall might not be right for you. Check with your local Pharisee.
Proclaiming the truth in the highways and byways of the world. Fighting for justice in the dark alleys of politics. Raising the voice of resistance to a fevered pitch. And he knows where to find the best and worst jail food in America. Randall Terry.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a lounge lizard holiday with Randall Terry. Buy my new album. Welcome to the show, friend. It is I, your servant Randall, with the third installment of a special series broadcast to you here from New Hampshire during this Christmas season, in which we play for you in its entirety the Democratic debate that was held at St. Anselm College in New Hampshire of the lesser-known Democratic candidates. I had the privilege of participating in that debate. If you missed parts 1 and 2 of this show, please look for it in the archives. It's worth your time. You can see for yourself why we are in the mess we are in when people are actually espousing theft of property, theft of freedom. God help us. All right, I've got to take a little bit of a break and give it a light moment with my good friend, Sir Reginald Bling. Only, Reggie, do me a favor. Don't sing, brother. Leave that to me. Jingle bells, jingle bells.
Just turn the thing on, I got something to say. The essence of slavery is that you are compelled to work for the benefit of another. Somebody else is wringing their bread off the sweat of your brow. And that, my friend, is what entitlements are. Entitled. Who said they're entitled? Who said that another man is entitled to the fruit of my labor? Heck, God told Adam, you're going to earn your bread by the sweat of your brow. And God says this is tough. Well, the government says, oh no, you're going to earn your bread by the sweat of your brow. And so are 6 other people. That is the essence of slavery.
Welcome, friend, to the broadcast. Well, it's day 3 of our special broadcast to you from New Hampshire, and the political freak show is going to kick into high gear. If you stay with me through the end of the show, you'll see when the homosexual activist to my right, who calls himself Vermin Supreme, stands up and says that Jesus told him to douse me with gold fairy dust so that I would turn gay. I will tell you whether or not he was successful at the end of the show. I give you the debate.
All right, looks like we may have found some running mates tonight. Let's begin back again with the second round of questioning, and we will start this time with Beth LaMontagne Hall. Your first question, Beth, will be for Mr. O'Donnell.
Mr. O'Donnell, I understand that charitable giving and contributing to the community is very important to you. What, as president, would you do to help those on the bottom?
Every church, every synagogue, every mosque, every temple, every Quaker meeting, if they coordinated, every homeless person could sleep inside every night with a nice mattress, a nice blanket, food, love, friendliness. So I would coordinate that program. The Gwinnett, Pennsylvania Quaker meeting had 6 homeless people living in their meeting. That can be done nationwide. The greatest thrill in the world is to help a homeless person, a prisoner, turn their life around.
The next question for Mr. Ed Cowan will come from Ambassador Shoemaker.
Good evening, Mr. Cowan. This debate is taking place on a college campus. Because of the loss of equity in many Americans' homes, loss of employment, and the ability of both parents and students to get loans, it is becoming harder and harder for students to attend colleges such as this. There's a serious threat that Pell Grants and other governmental funding will cut even more availability of funds for tuition. If students are our future, and I would ask you if you agree in that, and education will determine the future course of this country, what are your solutions for this serious crisis?
Well, there's no question that university and colleges are expensive, and there's plenty of them in America. That's one of the assets we have. And I would like to see us lower the tuition whenever possible. And we need means of pumping money into education. And one way, I totally agree that we need to absorb the Federal Reserve into the Treasury Department, because it's a collection of banks, basically. And we need for the Federal Reserve to be absorbed into the Treasury Department and have a lot more money available to loan to colleges and for tuition.
Mr. Terry, your next question comes from Beth Lamontagne Hall.
Do you support stronger environmental regulations when it comes to clean air and clean water?
Absolutely not. No.
Would you mind elaborating?
Sure, I'm going to go back to another one and tie it all in. It's getting to the place where I feel like I'm riding on the good ship Lollipop. We talk about raising taxes on the rich, that we need to dump more money into colleges, that we need a progressive income tax. People, we're going broke. This is a debt that will crush our children. It will never be paid back. And this nonsense of taking money from the rich is based on jealousy and greed and covetousness. God only says pay 10% across the board. So these green regulations that people are pushing from the green movement are going to cripple us even further economically. China is welcoming the jobs. China's welcoming the money. You can't even open up a new paper plant in America. Obama is trying to stop this pipeline from coming from Canada. How many jobs must we lose because we're bowing down to snail darters and polar bears?
Thank you, Mr. Terry. Thank you very much. The next question will be directed toward Mr. Green and from Ambassador Shoemaker.
Thank you. Mr. Green, this question was submitted by a student here at St. Anselm College. As you know, because you live in New England, it gets very cold up here in the winter. And our region is heavily dependent on heating oil. If elected, what would be your position on the proposed drastic cuts to the LIHEAP, low-income heating assistance program, that helps poorer people keep their families warm in the winter? Would you support those cuts in order to balance the budget, or would you restore the LIHEAP funding?
I do not support those cuts. I would restore the funding. I think we show an incredible lack of imagination in our fundraising ability. I've identified about $2.4 trillion worth of new revenue that I could generate through 3 separate programs, and they would be barely felt by the populace. I'd go to a royalty system on patents. I would go to tariffs, and I would go to a different way of calculating the AMT on corporate income taxes.
Thank you, Mr. Green.
Randall and I made a trip to Mars as part of a secret project. Okay, I lied. It was actually to the moon with Neil Armstrong.
Hi, Joe Costello here, founder of Kylea Health and Energy. I've been making superb nutritional supplements for over 15 years, and from day one, I've partnered with Randall Terry, helping to fund his invaluable work in reclaiming our country's biblical and godly roots. I want to share with you a product that has changed hundreds of thousands of lives since its inception.
Introducing the Total Living Drinks, Greens and Berry, the ultimate superfood formulas that provide you the 9 essential areas of nutrition your body needs on a daily basis. Each serving of the Total Living Drink provides the life-giving phytonutrients that come from the equivalent of 5 servings of organic vegetables and berries, enzymes for better digestion and nutrient absorption, protein for building lean muscle mass so you can burn more fat for fuel, probiotics for better intestinal function, herbs for building energy and stamina, antioxidants for maximum immune function and disease prevention, and all the vitamins and minerals you need for slowing down aging and maximum health. You would have to take 30 to 40 capsules each day and spend almost $10 a day to match the over 30,000 milligrams of total nutrition in each scoop of the Total Living drink. Order right now and get started on the amazing Total Living drink. They come in 2 delicious flavors, Total Living Drink Greens and Total Living Drink Berry. And every single dollar we receive, we give a generous amount to Randall Terry's organization to help further his work and further the kingdom. Visit us online at the address on your screen and receive an online discount or call the toll-free number. Call today, and for the daily price of a latte, you can get back on the road to better health and energy with Kylea's Total Living drink.
Moments with Moses. You shall not bring the hire of a harlot, or the wages of a dog into the house of the Lord your God, in payment for any vow. For both of these are an abomination to the Lord your God.
Welcome back to the show, friend. This is the third day of the 3-part series showing you the debate that happened in New Hampshire, in which I participated at St. Anselm College for the lesser-known Democratic candidates. If you did not see all 3 shows, go to the archives at terrycast.com and enjoy them. All right, here we go. And by the way, coming up, in case you don't know it, a homosexual activist douses me with gold fairy dust, hoping to turn me gay. It was a dark moment. I'll tell you about my struggles in just a minute.
Beth, your next question is for Mr. Supreme.
Mr. Supreme, I wanted to follow up on Ambassador Shoemaker's question.
Yes.
Regarding the ponies.
Yes.
Is that the only government entitlement program that you support? What other entitlement programs are you for?
Just that one. That's enough. But in the vein of energy production, I'd also like to address my harnessing the awesome power of zombies for energy sources. It's not just to run away from anymore. No, we have giant turbines that we're working on, and we will have lots of zombies, and we'll just sort of dangle brains in front of them, and then they will turn the giant turbines, creating energy to lessen the dependence on foreign oil in America here today. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question, for Mr. Hayward from Ambassador Shoemaker.
Yes, Mr. Haywood, President Obama has been in office for over 3 years now. What has been, and I'd like you to be as specific as you can, what has been his biggest missed opportunity, in your opinion, and what would you have done differently as president? And I would ask you to respond on some issue other than the tax piece that you've already talked about. His biggest missed opportunity, Mr. Haywood.
To lead us into a national health service.
Could you elaborate, please?
Insurance schemes, whether they be Medicaid, Medicare, United Health, Blue Cross, you name it, they are not the answer, they are the problem. We get a so inefficiently run system, we can save 42%. I mean, the British system runs at 42% what we're paying, and that will save this country $1 trillion a year. And it's being paid as a regressive tax. I mean, it's not. Insurance premium's not technically a government tax, but there's still a tax. You've got it's something you have to pay for what you have to have.
Thank you, Mr. Hayward. The final question in this round for Mr. Wolf from UBET.
Mr. Wolf, as you may or may not be aware, one well-known New Hampshire resident, Granny D, walked across the United States in her elder years to draw awareness to campaign finance reform. Do you feel there is more that needs to be done to rein in the amount of money being spent in national politics?
Well, I think the only thing we could do now, given the Supreme Court decision in January of 2010, I think it was called Citizens United, we're going to have to go ahead and probably get a constitutional amendment which redefines what First Amendment rights are and excludes corporations. That's the only way we can do it under the present law. And I would be in favor of that. You know, it's hard to put a harness on free speech wherever it comes from, but the amount of money that the people, the corporate people, the Fortune 500 people can spend every year, it's now unlimited. They don't have to report it. It can come from any source. I mean, it's just going to have a terrible and deleterious influence on lawmaking, and it's already been seen. I mean, they intimidate people who are progressives. They can intimidate people in swing states because people have to march to that tune. They know if they don't march to the corporate tune, they'll be inundated and money is spent by their opponents to just swamp them. So we probably need to go ahead and get a constitutional amendment.
We are short on time for another round, but what we're going to do here is get each of you a 30-second close. Not enough time for another round, but certainly enough time to give each of you a 30-second closing statement. So I'm going to start randomly, and we will begin with Mr. Green. You have 30 seconds for a closing statement, sir.
Thank you. I feel that I bring a totally different perspective due to my background in physics. Physics teaches you to think widely and broadly and deeply. So I would recommend that as one of my qualifications. I think we need to send a message to the politicians that they have to talk seriously about energy. And they're not doing that today. And if they have any discussion that does not include the word thorium, you have not heard a serious energy discussion. And I think that also the national labs have not served President Obama well in this regard.
Thank you, sir.
Mom, I'm here in New Hampshire, and I'm cold. Put on a pot of soup for me. I'll be right home.
Hi, Joe Costello here, founder of Kailea Health and Energy. I want to share with you a product that has changed hundreds of thousands of lives.
Introducing the Total Living Drinks, Greens and Berry, the ultimate superfood formulas that provide you the 9 daily essential areas of nutrition your body needs. Each scoop provides the life-giving phytonutrients that come from the equivalent of 5 servings of organic vegetables and berries, probiotics for better intestinal function, antioxidants for disease prevention, and vitamins and minerals for establishing maximum health. Order now and get started on the Total Living Drink. When you do, a generous gift will go to Randall Terry's organization to help further his work and further the kingdom. Order online and receive an online discount or call the toll-free number. Call today and enjoy maximum health and energy.
Some people's idea of free speech is that they are free to say what they like, but if anyone says anything back, that is an outrage. Sir Winston Churchill. Welcome back to the program, friend. All over the internet, you're going to see what everyone else is seeing when the homosexual activist douses me with gold fairy dust, claiming that it will make me gay. Watch what happens.
Let's go to Mr. Collin, 30 seconds for a closing statement, sir.
Okay. At the core of the cancer that is destroying America and the world, we find the banks sucking down the vitality of modern civilization with endless usurious interest, and it has to stop. And finally, I would say to conservatives, Jesus Christ was a liberal, not a conservative or a reactionary Roman who loved fat cats, killing machines, and voracious capitalism. Jesus Christ was about love.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Wolf, your closing 30-second statement, sir.
I just want to say, I want to say that I want to be the progressive alternative to President Obama. I want to represent the people. I don't think that you all should have austerity. I don't think that you should have to pay for Wall Street's mistakes. Wall Street put a lot of derivatives, a lot of speculative exotic instruments throughout this economy. and it ruined the economy. It caused a meltdown, and now with the duopoly, the Democrats and Republicans are alike are trying to impose an agenda of austerity on the people to cut their Social Security benefits, cut the home heating oil you were talking about, cut back on student loans, assistance to the students, the poor. That's wrong. We should tax Wall Street. We should tax corporations more. We need to have a progressive income tax. Taxes right now are the lowest ever since 1928 on the rich, and we need to correct that, or we're not going to have
Thank
a
you,
good
Mr.
economy.
Wolf. Thank you. The next remarks to Mr. Randall Terry. 30 seconds, sir.
Every person in here is made in the image of God. Thomas Jefferson in the Declaration said that our rights come from God. All men are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights: the right to life, the right to liberty, the right to the pursuit of happiness. If we are going to be restored as a nation, we have to return to the founding vision of the source of ethics, the source of policy. If we're going to become a nation of thieves and a nation of people who kill their children and who put forth every perversion and wickedness and say, this is good, then we will go the way of the Greeks and of the Romans and of the other empires that have perished before us. But if we're going to be restored, we must return to life and liberty and justice under our Creator. Go to terryforpresident.com to learn more. Thank you, sir.
Next closing statement, Mr. Haywood.
Well, I'll address what I really did not get to in my opening statement. That is the continuing vetoes of proposed United Nations action against Israel are not the answer. Those vetoes are, in fact, the problem itself. Had our country not embraced an ism called Zionism, there would have been no 9/11, Iraq War, Afghanistan War. My proposal is that we stop vetoing action by the United Nations and let the United Nations do what it's supposed to do and free the Palestinian people.
Thank you, Mr. Haywood. Thank you. Mr. Supreme, your 30-second closing statement, please.
My name is Vermin, my name is Vermin, Vermin Supreme. My name is Vermin, my name is Vermin, my name is Vermin, Vermin, Vermin Supreme. And you can vote, and you can vote, and you can vote for me for president if you want to. And my name is Vermin. And okay, thanks very much for coming out today. Oh, one more thing. Jesus told me to make Randall Terry gay. That you sprinkled us.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Supreme. Thank you. All right.
Turn gay!
All right. Okay. Mr. O'Donnell, please take us out of this with 30 seconds of your final thoughts.
Come out, Terry.
Jesus Christ did one thing. He helped people. An Afghan poet said, God has lit the fire of love in my heart. Go to McDonald's, Newcastle, Delaware, Route 9, meet two street preachers, Gary and Larry Dickinson. They do that every day.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Let's have a hand for all our candidates, and thank you for joining us.
Well, there you have it in its entirety, the entire debate and the crazy gesture by Vermin Supreme. Now, I'm going to tell you, I've been having some internal struggles. I find myself loving Barbra Streisand. I love to cook. I love show tunes. But I just didn't go all the way, ladies and gentlemen. I'm as straight as an arrow, as straight as I've ever been. Vermin, your foolish trick didn't work. I'm still an adversary of homosexual marriage, and I pray for the grace of God for that man and those that were there supporting him to have a good conversion. And I did my best, frankly, to not react negatively. Some people said, you should have got up and punched him. I just felt like it was a privilege from God that I could suffer a little bit of embarrassment because I've been standing strong for the babies and against homosexual marriage. And I mean that. I'll be right back with a word from one of our founders. You will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in darkness,
nor the destruction that wastes at noonday.
Hi, Joe Costello here, founder of Kylea Health and Energy. I want to share with you a product that has changed hundreds of thousands of lives.
Introducing the Total Living Drinks, Greens and Berry, the ultimate superfood formulas that provide you the 9 daily essential areas of nutrition your body needs. Each scoop provides the life-giving phytonutrients that come from the equivalent of 5 servings of organic vegetables and berries, probiotics for better intestinal function, antioxidants for disease prevention, and vitamins and minerals for establishing maximum health. Order now and get started on the Total Living Drink. When you do, a generous gift will go to Randall Terry's organization to help further his work and further the kingdom. Order online and receive an online discount or call the toll-free number. Call today and enjoy maximum health and energy.
George Washington said, "The hour is fast approaching on which the honor and success of this army and the safety of our bleeding country depend. Remember, officers and soldiers, that you are free men fighting for the blessings of liberty, that slavery will be your portion, and that of your posterity if you do not acquit yourselves like men." Friend, George Washington is right. The choices between us are liberty and life or slavery and death. Now is the time to fight to restore this country. God bless you.